Hello. Um, Today I'm going to be doing a demonstration of how to use THC Hydra on Kali Linux. Let me log in here. To use THC Hydra is fairly simple. For starters, THC Hydra is a tool that was designed to help brute force hack into authentication services. To test this, I have an FTP server running on my Kali Linux virtual machine here. I'll make sure that's running. As you can see, it's active and it is running. I do have a second virtual machine open as well, but I don't think that'll impact us much here. The great thing about Hydra is you can hack your way into authentication systems by giving it a dictionary. Now what that means is you can give Hydra a list of potential passwords, and it will try to hack into the service using each password in the list, one at a time. This is significant because you can have a huge password list containing 5,000 passwords, and most cases are the password you're going to be trying to hack into is found in that list. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to be using a few simple word lists I created here. I'll show you. This is my password list. This is the actual password that I'm going to be trying to find. If you give it a larger word list, you can be running for a really long time. For the case of this demo, we're just going to be using a password like that. And then for my users, similarly, I have a small user file. Without further ado, let's try hacking into our system. You can see to run Hydra, you run the command Hydra, and then -L for a user list, and you can see here's my user list, -P for a word list, and then the service and host that the service is at. Now this is also going to be more simple than most cases because this FTP server is running locally, so I'm giving it my the IP address of the same machine. It doesn't have to be routed here or anything, but the principle should still apply. It'll take a moment to run, and there you see it has completed. It found on FTP at this host, the login that was successful was user1, and the password that was successful was password. Now this is significant because hackers or penetration testers can get into systems fairly simply, even if it might take a while, as long as they have a sufficient list of credentials or potential credentials. You can download a lot of these files from multiple sources on the web that contain 5,000 or 10,000 more passwords, and chances are the password that someone is using is inside that word list. Even scarier is the fact that you can give it a list for usernames as well. So you don't even have to know a valid username to hack into a system. You can simply give it a list of potential users, a list of potential passwords, and hit go. And within a matter of hours, usually, that's just my daughter. Within a matter of hours, Hydra will successfully brute force its way into the service. Now, to prevent against systems like Hydra, there are a few things you can do. For one, you can have a limit on the amount of login attempts that you permit. One second. Come here. You can have a limit on the amount of login attempts that you permit. Additionally, you can have a password that is sufficiently complicated enough that it's most likely not going to be in a word list that someone could download. For example, instead of simply having password here, you could have a capital P with an @ sign and then $2 signs and something like that. That would be more likely to not be in a word list. Now, to do this, you'd want to use something more complicated than what I just said, but for example, you could use a password that's 14 characters long, random characters, different capital, some special characters. That way it would most likely be original. So to kind of sum up, Hydra is a very scary and efficient tool for hacking into simple services requiring authentication. For more information, you can do a Google search. There's a good website called irongeek.com that has a lot of information on Hydra. Thanks for listening.